All right. Good evening, book lovers. Welcome to another episode of Cath-Lit Live. I am your host, Amy Cattapan. You can find me everywhere on social media as AJ Cattapan. If I look a little different tonight, it's because I just got a fresh haircut. So this is how smooth my hairstylist can get it. I cannot get it this smooth when I style it myself. But welcome back to another episode. After a few weeks off, I've been very busy leading some retreats, which have been a lot of fun, and also speaking at some conferences. A couple of weeks ago, I was at NCEA, so always good to be with my teacher friends and get to talk about so many wonderful things, books and teaching and writing and all that good stuff. So tonight, I am back with a guest I had hoped to have on earlier, and things just didn't work out for us. So we rescheduled, and things were able to work out for today. We are going to be talking with Maya Sinha about her new book, The City Mother. But man, it's been a while since I've done this. I forgot to talk about my sponsor, my friends at the Hello app, who I got to see at NCEA a couple of weeks ago, some of the teams from the Hello app. Boy, have they grown since I first learned about them and met one of the co-founders back in before the pandemic. I think I've been using the Hello app for over 3 years now. I don't know. I'm losing track of time. But if you're not familiar with the Hello app, check it out. Use my link, because not only do you get 3 months for free, you get 20% off of the premium version after your 3 months free. So it's hello.app/Cath-Lit-Live. So make sure you use my link there. And I'm so grateful to my friends at the Hello app for sponsoring the show. So today, as I said, we're going to be talking with Maya Sinha. She is the author of The City Mother from Prism Press. Maya grew up in New Mexico and wrote for the Santa Fe Reporter before attending law school. As a lawyer, she wrote a humor column for the local newspaper. In 2019, she became a columnist for the Saturday Evening Post. Her work has appeared in the Lamp magazine, Dappled Things, Book and Film Globe, and many other publications. The City Mother is her first novel. She lives in Northern California with her family. Please help me welcome to the show, Maya Sinha. Hello, Maya.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me here.
Well, welcome to Cath-Lit Live. You know, I just read your bio and I realized when I was talking to you before, I didn't ask about this. So you were a lawyer who wrote a humor column. How does that happen? That does not seem like a natural connection for a lawyer to be writing a humor column.
Right. It just kind of came naturally from my daily life with two kids. I live in a small college town that's a little bit quirky and sort of funny. And it was a column called Lowbrow that was sort of made fun of sort of the a little bit of the sort of self-satisfaction of this college town in California, just talking about lowbrow things like McDonald's and, funny things with the kids. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, great. All right. So today, though, you're going to be talking about The City Mother, which is your first novel. So tell us about The City Mother. What's that book about?
So The City Mother is, it's a literary novel set in modern day America. It's set in about 2010 in a modern American city. And the protagonist is a young newspaper reporter in a small town named Cara Nielsen. And she's dating an ambitious, smart, attractive man. And impulsively, she decides to marry this man. And he takes a job in a big city. And so she moves there with him, gets a new job. And then in short order, they have a couple of kids. And her life changes very drastically, going from a young single girl to a mother of young children in a city apartment. And so the novel is about her sort of emotional and spiritual struggles and challenges. And it has elements of a suspense novel, like a domestic noir or psychological suspense novel.
Interesting. Okay. Now, this isn't any particular big city, right? It's just kind of a general city. Why did you choose to just kind of make it generic?
That's right. The sort of day-to-day life aspects of the novel were based on when I was actually living in Oakland and working in San Francisco. So as I was beginning to write it, it was sort of an amalgam of those two places, not any one place. And then as I got further into the writing, I didn't want to make it any particular city in the book because it seemed like such a universal experience anywhere in the modern West, in America, even in Europe. You have young women who are very trained and encouraged to pursue a career and to make that their number one goal because of course they're smart and talented and this is what they're told to do. And then they find themselves, maybe later in a big city away from their family, rather isolated and having a baby. And everything of course gets turned upside down with their interests, their values, their energy. They're in a whole new world that they're not really very prepared for. And the city itself can be a rather isolating and very consumerist environment to try to get your bearings as a young mother. And there's often there's pressure placed on the marriage too, if you don't have much of a network and you're in the middle of a city, which can be a rather cold place. So I thought I would keep it generic, just to be any city, a universal city. The other thing I had in the back of my mind was St. Augustine's distinction between the city of God and the city of man. And of course, the city of man is a fallen world. It's our earthly life where the presence of evil is inevitable. You can't escape it. And so one of the things Cara comes to terms with is a perception and an understanding that she has brought these innocent, sweet children into a fallen world where evil is lurking everywhere, and how she has to contend with that just as a mother, in the physical city and also in the metaphysical city.
Nice. Now, I understand that your protagonist, Cara, is a film aficionado who's comparing her life to the movies. So can you tell us more about how do the movies play a role? Are you really into movies too? Is that like a personal trait you brought into the main character?
Yeah, I'm pretty much into movies. I don't watch as many as I used to when I was single, but I had a few years where I was a part-time movie reviewer. And that to me was the greatest job ever, to really be able to immerse yourself in the movies and think about the movies. And so I gave that to this character. And it's a little bit reminiscent of this 1961, I think, novel by Walker Percy, another Catholic author, The Moviegoer. In that case, the protagonist, a young single man, kind of adrift, to him, the movies seem more real and more intense and more meaningful than real life. And for Cara, that is a little bit the case initially. She grows up an only child in a kind of a detached, a bit of a sad situation in her family. Her father dies when she's a child, and the movies are something she really latches on to as speaking to her imagination and longing for an exciting, dramatic life somewhere out of this podunk town. And also, of course, if you grew up watching movies, the movies really glamorize the city. I mean, I watched a lot of Woody Allen movies as teenagers, and I thought New York City was the best place on earth. Is it a place I'd actually want to live? No, actually, it is not. It takes you a while.
But it makes it look like you want to live there.
It makes it look like it, yes. And so again, very typical. This young small town kid moves to the city. So anyway, and the movies also, it speaks to her love of movies and her love of books and art, which she thinks about a lot because she's living a rather isolated life, as one does, as the mother of young kids. Without, she's not at work, she doesn't have a lot of friends around. So she spends a lot of time in her mind trying to understand her situation with respect to movies and books and poetry and the saints. So it speaks to her sensitivity. And she also has, various experiences that she's sort of hypersensitive or hyper aware. And so this aesthetic sensitivity also shows up in the form of kind of a spiritual sensitivity, that she is sort of keyed to things happening that other people are not as aware of.
Okay, but is she religious? Okay, you consider it a Catholic novel, but she's not Catholic, is that right?
Right. No, the novel is actually a bit of in a sense, it's a conversion story of someone who is, again, a very ordinary, secular, ambitious young woman who was not raised with any religion. And I myself was not raised with much of a religion. My parents were different religions, and neither one of them were very religious, and that wasn't a big part of life. And again, everything bumps along just fine until she finds herself with young children. And then in my own experience as a mother in the city, a little bit older than Cara was, should have known better for a lot of things with me, but she's younger than I was. You realize that, I mean, having children, it becomes a very consumerist experience in a way. Do I have the right stroller? Do I have the right bottle? Do I have the right clothes? Are they in the right t-shirt? Am I doing this? Or am I getting them into the right preschool? And so all these things are coming at you, but you tend to realize that this is not enough. Just like picking the right brands and types of things for these kids is not going to be enough. And that's why a lot of parents, start eventually going back to church and trying to have some spiritual anchor in their lives, because they're undergoing a profound transformative experience of being a parent and having a child that they love more than anyone. They're newly aware of the dangers and evils of the world that they've brought the kid into, and that they need some sort of an anchor besides materialism or science. I mean, science is great, but it doesn't really help you with the meaning and grounding of raising a child. And so in that sense, the book is a Catholic novel. And by the end of it, when she can look back on her experiences, she realizes that the Catholic Church is her natural home, because it's always venerated motherhood for 2,000 years in the figure of Mary. And the sacredness of the experience of motherhood is really deeply, deeply woven into the Catholic faith in a way that speaks to this character.
Well, where can people find out more about you and your books? Where should they find you?
The easy thing is to find me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook at Maya Sinha, Maya Sinha. And then I have a website I've put up with an excerpt from the book. It's gotten some really nice reviews. I've done various interviews and podcasts. And it also has some of my older writing, my humor writing. I did a humor column for the Saturday Evening Post. I did my newspaper columns. So kind of a cornucopia of stuff I've written. And that is at www.mayasinhawriter.com. So MAYASINHA writer.com.
Very good. I'll make sure when this goes up on YouTube, I'll put that on the bottom banner to make sure everyone can see it.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Maya.
Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
You too.
Everyone. Bye, Maya. All right. Well, glad to have another episode of Cath-Lit Live out there, and I'm looking forward to bringing you some more episodes. Hopefully this summer we'll have some good things cooking. Speaking of this summer, if you are a Catholic writer or you are interested in becoming a Catholic writer, I am the conference chair for this year's Catholic Writers Guild Catholic Writers Conference Live. We hold a live conference every summer in conjunction with the Catholic Marketing Network Conference and Trade Show. It's practically in my backyard this year in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, Schaumburg, Illinois. If you are interested in that, you should go to catholicwritersguild.org/live-conference. I'll put that on the screen too. And come check us out. We're going to have acquisitions editors from major Catholic publishers, including Chrism Press, who published Maya's book that we talked about this evening, and they will be there to hear pitches. So if you have a novel manuscript sitting in a drawer somewhere, or a proposal for a nonfiction book, and you would like to meet with some Catholic publishers, I know we're also going to have Ave Maria Press there, and OSV, our Sunday Visitor there, and I think one or two others that I'm blanking on right now. So stay tuned for future episodes. I'll give you more information. But if you want to come meet these publishers, if you want to come hear talks about how to get published, how to market books if you've already got your books published, what it means to be a Catholic writer, there's so much going on and lots of great networking happening. That'll be in July. In the Chicago suburbs. So go to catholicwritersguild.org/live-conference for more info. In the meantime, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. If you've read Maya's book, go ahead and leave her a comment. I know at least one person who read it and said it was great. So go check it out. And until next time, I wish you all happy reading.